It's all you Team Fortress players. Yeah, I see you out there. And my friend's like, yo, just come play Dota with us. You can get more TF2 items this way. I was like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. Started playing Dota. I remember the first time I ever played it, my brother yelled from his room and said, come play for me. I have to go. And I was playing Puck on the off lane, and I killed a guy, and I just like, this game's awesome. Oh,
Did he leave right after?
Ever.
Because that's what was happening back in the days. Like, you kill someone to just straight out leave the game.
Yeah, but the problem was that inspired me to play Puck, which I believe still holds a 30% win rate on my Dota. because I never became a Puck player.
Only a couple times.
No, I played it like way too many times and I had no idea how to play Dota. But then came TI9, and that was, of course, so inspirational. And you're just like, wow, this community is absolutely ridiculous.
Was that the first time there was crowdfunding?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. People weren't really into all the cosmetics yet at that point. Or at least maybe Valve hadn't unlocked their full potential of realizing.
We're going really deep here.
Yeah, but this is a big thing because as the years go by, we have a prize pool of near $35 million. We started at thinking a $1 million for the winning team, never gonna happen. That was just 9 years ago.
Start off with TI1 having some basically basement broadcast happening there, and now we're full panels, $35 million. We got 2 different panels. That's true. We've got an analyst on standby, just ready to go at any point. If we want to point to him, maybe we'll get to you later.
We will, because my plan was to go through all the finals. Hey, Kyle. And, we all have our own memories of different finals or different TIs. We were going to go past TI4, which was very long, that TI, and we're going to go to TI5.
Wow, you're just really skipping over TI4 just like the rest of Dota 2 historians? That is
that finals.
Yeah, we don't talk about
45-minute grand finals. Woo!
TI4 was the first TI in Key Arena. And I think that was a phenomenal experience. The panel was sitting inside the crowd. I think we really, we scaled it up from Ben Royal Hall, which is an amazing location, to Arena.
It was intimate. Then you got
Ben Royal Hall was intimate, and then you got an Arena, which was massive. It was very exciting, apart from the finals. TF5 was very exciting as well, but we're, of course, having Kyle sitting in a corner because of his experience with TI6.
Hi, Kyle. We're really excited to break down these late TIs. We're going to get into the past.
Kyle, where were you in TI6? What team
we're going to get into that. We're not really quite there yet.
We're really going
I want to bring this up. So, key point, TI6. This is the wild card loser bracket round 2. You don't win this game, you're eliminated from TI.
So we got to assume, Kyle.
So,
okay, go for it first.
Well, first, you notice what's not banned here. The Abed Meepo. He had lost 1 game in his entire career on Meepo up until this point. So we're going to watch the draft. Unbelievable execution take the Meepo. We've got to keep this in mind for this series, right? Because if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. As we can see, this clip, wow, this is a really long clip. Yeah, Meepo wins. We're going to just... everyone knows what happened here. Abed, execration, they move on. They competed at the main event of TI6. Did quite well. And, yeah, that's the end of that one. Now, back even further, TI5. Check this out. We're going to pause in just a second. The Storm Spirit, you notice what's missing from his inventory. That's right. He drops the Yules to Soul Ring. However...
Who does?
Swindle Melons, one of the best mid players at TI5, the only person to win a lane against Sumail, according to the legend himself. As you can see, he gets 100-0 locked down, goes down. Rubik, hero of the tournament, kills both the hero and the, apparently we have it in slow motion.
This is better.
If you really wanted to see it, as his dreams, like his Yules, are shattered on the ground as the trees.
Aren't you happy there weren't sprays
share
back
his
then?
anguish. I am very happy there weren't.
Can you imagine the tipping that would
really quick fingers there by Earthshaker.
Going even further back, right? 27 years ago, my parents made a big mistake. But look at me now. I'm at the TI finals, and I'm just so psyched to be here. Throw it back to you, Sheeves.
You're too harsh on yourself, Kyle. I do also want to point out, there might be a lot of people watching that have not got a single clue what's going on right now. Swindle Balance, the person that he's talking about, is actually Kyle. And yeah, he has made some mistakes in TI history that he just, he wanted to reflect. This is very cathartic for him, I bet. I hope it is, because otherwise I'm not sure.
I was about to say, I love Kyle, because whoever came up with that, that whole idea of a segment, I don't know if it was yourself, Kyle. Did you come up with that or somebody else?
I was inspired, and they made me do it after. I mean,
I think,
I love you
I
for
think a
going
lot
for
of
it.
people were inspired but to not drop items on the
Exactly.
ground anymore after
Everybody
that.
was doing it before Kyle did
And
it, you know?
everybody started banning out Abed or keeping at least Abed's Meepo in mind in all the games to come as well.
You're a part of history, Kyle.
Very, very much so.
hey, if you make fun of yourself, you don't hurt anybody's feelings, right?
True.
Only your own.
All right, guys.
Cut the
Back
camera.
to your
Cut the
corner.
camera. Cut the camera.
Thank you.
That wasn't a loser's interview. This is not the time for tears.
Hey, we're going to continue on because that was, of course, TI6 for Kyle in a nutshell. We're going to move to TI7 because TI7 was the first time a team that started out in the upper bracket, went to the loser bracket, and then made a run all the way to the finals and won it. It was a clean 3-0 sweep for the first time in TI history. A team won without dropping a single game in the grand finals, and that team is Team Liquid.
Yep.
Almost
Their
the same.
miraculous run at TI7, they might repeat it here with even... They dropped at the lower bracket round 2 at TI7, and now they were in lower bracket round 1. So if they win this one, they're going to do even better. I love these kind of stories. And, you know, I also love memes as well. So this is... It's kicking in. They also have OG in the grand finals here.
I mean, Lacoste, you got a time to actually be able to play against Kuro back in like his heyday, right? Like, what was that like? What did you view Kuro as a player back then?
I mean, I know Kuro since Dota 1 days.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't ever played on a team, but you know, against each other. And he was always a calm guy. Always comes, talks to you about a lot of different stuff. His ideas about Dota were always kind of different than the other people. I guess that's why him and Puppy are the only ones who attended all 9 TIs, because he had different ideas and he's sticking with them. He's not giving up on his opinion.
Yeah, and his dream and his goal to be the first person to take 2, right? He's very, very close, but so is OG, because after TI7, it was supposed to be a Chinese year, and it turned out not to be. We saw LGD go up against OG, and that was an exciting 5-game series that OG ended up winning despite having like the roughest time before TI anybody has ever had.
Yeah, that's a true comeback story, I
Yes.
guess, right? Like the ultimate underdogs, basically as if Infamous were to win this TI. Thank you, Liquid Dota Power Rankings. That's what it was. I mean, you weren't stupid to have them that low. It was a fair assumption based off of what had happened to that team. They were completely dismantled, had to be put back together. They grabbed Seb, who, as much as we all love, and of course was a high MMR player, people were still just like, can he really hang?
Yeah.
The TI crowd. I mean, that was definitely the attitude towards it. And he has clearly proven that he has the capability to do that again.
Yes.
Has he really proved it? Only...
Yeah. I mean, has he? I don't know.
I mean, has he? Come on.
I think he did.
All or nothing,
Shutting
right?
up all the haters out there.
Yeah, because there were, even after they won that TI International 2018, there were still a lot of haters, Cap. There were a lot of people that said, you know what? They
It was
got
an
lucky.
F word.
The
yes,
fluke
the
TI.
The
fluke.
fluke word,
Yeah.
The fluke TI.
lucky.
Yeah. People would equate them to Digital Chaos and their run. It was like, oh, great, you figured something out. It worked really well for you, but you'll never see that position again. And somehow, some way, OG, despite even having like not the greatest year throughout the DPC, they were not a front runner or anywhere really close to it. There was probably a long list of teams you would, at least 5, that you would put in front of them, right?
Yeah.
And they still managed to be the most dominant team upon entering TI. Just destroys the group stage. People are like, oh, well, they're going to get figured out like at some point in time because you've shown all your cards, but they just continue to run through the upper bracket and are now waiting for Team Liquid.
It is almost an unbelievable story, right? And then against them is Team Liquid, who, well, also had a very rough year, actually. They missed out on the first minor or major. They couldn't qualify, and I think they dropped out of the minor after dropping to the lower bracket because they didn't, I don't know, they just decided to skip out on that one. And then you see them in the group stage, and they look kind of lost.
They're one of the teams that I personally kind of expected to be in the lower part of the bracket, based on their performance throughout the year, especially the end of the season. And here they are. But by playing each single game, they become much, much stronger. You can see the kind of mini meta developing inside their team and getting a huge boost in the confidence after each single win.
I imagine the last major must have helped too, right? The fact that you have this opportunity to prove yourself. They were kind of looking at it as practice, I would guess, right? Okay, we're a new team. Let's see how we gel together. And then you wind up going right to the finals of the major. Like, it doesn't get a whole lot better than that.
You get to figure out whether or not Wind Ranger is a viable hero.
Yeah, they figured it out.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting about these two teams matched up in the finals as well is there's another story about like how OG on their way to a TI run, right, got shattered by players leaving them. And for this TI, Liquid actually have the opposite situation where they, as a team, and mostly Kuro as a captain, had to choose to kick someone. And, you know, the interview was really interesting from Kuro talking about that and saying, you know, it wasn't necessarily about Matama Man. He was basically the victim in this situation where we needed to be able to revitalize the team. And it says a lot about motivation. I think what's so cool about the International is, and Dota 2 in general as an esport, is its history. And the fact that we have come so far without being able to crown a TI winner twice, that's finally going to be broken.
Yes.
And so much of that comes down to motivation and being able to maintain that will to push through all of these tough competitors to be the best.
And to adapt, because Dota changes. That's why we love it.
Yeah.
That's why it's been around
Yep.
forever. And it's crazy that you could have the same roster that won a TI, and then you could be going towards TI and be like, oh, this won't work. I mean, how can we possibly win TI with this guy? It's amazing that you have to try and adapt yourself to those changes and really make that hard decision of just like, you know, someone's got to go.
Someone's got, yeah, and it worked, you know? It's got them to the
We'll
finals.
see.
Well, I think
I mean-
already getting to the finals is a great achievement regardless. We are going to have a two-time champion, guaranteed. There are going to be 9 TI champions playing on the stage, 10 people on the stage that have played in TI final before, because you mentioned the Digital Chaos run, Cap. That one had a Weehai in it. So he has got experience with the amount of pressure. We talk a lot about the TI pressure, and I think everybody has seen the true sides from both Liquid and OG in their respective finals runs. There is one overarching story there that goes for both. They were all fairly comfortable and just like focus on the Dota. Don't think about winning. Don't think about anything else. Just relax and have fun with it.
Yeah, these are all experienced players that played at multiple LAN events. I remember like my first LAN event where your hands are actually shaking. You're doing a lot of mistakes. After you play a couple of those, you don't really care whether you're playing inside the arena because you used to be playing only at home. And after that, I mean, it's just your mental strength that is growing after that.
Yeah, it has been a crazy road to the finals for these teams in a mental way, also in a Dota way though, and we do have a recap for you on how these teams got to the finals.
Everyone thinks they know what it takes to become a champion, but so few actually face the hurdles that litter the road to victory. To claim the Aegis takes everything you can muster, more than you even knew you had.
Thompson waiting under the tower. He's just tanking through all of it. A triple kill for Thompson. And now the jump in from Freeman in the corner. Toss them down. This may just be it with none of them.
You need the courage to fight, the will to overcome adversity, the confidence to outlast doubt.
He'll keep himself safe. He has that kill. Miracle. He has no buyback, dead for 2 minutes.
But Setsu's isolated.
And RNG have lost everything.
We go concoction again. Back them together. Finish it in style. This game's over.
You need to stand tall against your enemies and embrace the strengths of your friends. You will be tested.
He can jump in if he wants to, thinking about it. They should open up teams that goes like this. It's going to be they have to have it, try to turn it. We are so freaking low, and they all are getting torn apart. Nisha.
You will be battered and bent, but never broken. You will follow in the footsteps of legends and trust that someday others will follow in yours.
Activated Soul Catcher on him, press the attack though, helping him out, Earth Splitter. Oh, but they caught the duel. They caught him, man, he's dead for 2 minutes. The volley's coming in, but it's not good enough. OG are going to the Grand Finals for the second.
You will understand the magnitude of each moment. without losing sight of the prize ahead. Because you know this is your time. This is your fight. It's all on the line.
All on the line for Team Liquid and OG. This is a battle that for me goes back to 2015. That's when these two squads, different iterations, were formed, and they were kind of formed around the same time. It's when the original Secret fell apart. It's when that was the biggest shuffle that I think we witnessed in Dota 2 history to date. Kind of scared for the ones
for it.
to come.
What were their original squad names? Monkey Business and
Monkey Business.
Jungs?
5 Jungs.
Jungs?
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
Damn.
And that first major that came around when those two teams were formed, it was the Boston major at that point. OG ended up winning that, and this European qualifier, it wasn't really European qualifier, it was Europe and CIS together.
Yes.
And it had Secret, Virtus Pro, it was a different Secret then, of course, Virtus Pro, Liquid, at Finnem, and OG.
Yeah.
These 5, and only 3 or 2 would make it through. I think 3 at that point. It was so crazy. I remember everybody being so just baffled by the fact that Liquid didn't make it to that major, and neither did Secret actually.
I mean, considering how good Ad Finnem was playing back in the days and their magical run as well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, there were some magical runs in there. A lot of emotions that we've seen from OG over the years, and actually over the last couple of days as well. We saw No Tail in a winner's interview yesterday, and we just want you to see that again in case you missed it.
Before this tournament, things were a bit dark. My dog had died, and yeah, it was really rough for a couple of weeks. My self-esteem was pretty low, and now we're here. Sebastian, I mean, honestly, I dedicate this tournament to him. Oh, fuck, this is so crazy.
You're making me cry. Stop it.
No, but really, thank you, Sebastian, and of course, everyone else. Just feeling so fucking lucky, feeling so fucking good. Yeah. That's fucking adrenaline, I'm shaking.
What a roller coaster of emotion in just 20 seconds. Not even 20, 10 seconds. Right?
All
You
the
start
way
off
up,
being sad.
all the way down.
I mean, it is crazy. Reaching the TI Grand Finals 2 years in a row. What are the odds of that? Is there any odds for that? I don't think so, Trent.
Nahaz?
Nahaz?
Any odds?
No stats from Nahaz for that
You
one.
know it's serious when Alan's speechless.
I mean, that is unheard of. We have, of course, seen Navi squad being in finals back-to-back, but never the same squad, never the same 5 players. So this is already a phenomenal achievement. And then also facing a team with 4 other TI Grand Finalist champions.
It goes to show that OG really is something special, right? The fact that Liquid had to kick somebody to be able to revitalize the entire team, to be able to add something else to the squad. And OG was just able to do it through sheer willpower and momentum, I guess. And in a lot of ways, you saw No Tail saying that, like, it was a really dark moment before this tournament, and he turned to his teammates and his friends, and apparently in particular Seb. And they were all there to support him and have brought him along in this journey all the way to the Grand Finals.
And he said he can't even imagine playing Dota with anyone else now, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can really picture anyone else on OG.
No.
I mean, even though they
Never
went together that long, when I'm watching them play through the year, and then you have like Anna leaving for a bit, and you have these stand-ins coming in, you're just like, you're not OG.
Yeah, you're not part of our
that's not my
family. We
OG
need
right here.
Anna back. I mean, sometimes you have this connection with a certain player that, not just playing Dota, it's like you have this friend that you travel with to every single event. I mean, I've said it yesterday, they're basically your family.
Yes.
So it's not just a team, it's Dota that brings people together.
Like No Tail and Fly used to be.
Well, this turned dark real quickly.
I mean, this is the roller coaster of emotions. This is what we're gonna do here.
In a lot of ways, though, that I don't think No Tail and Fly ever experienced these kind of deep emotions, right? They went through a lot together, but they were always like a relatively okay squad, but didn't really experience the highest of highs nor the lowest of lows. Maybe in the
Achieving that
Heroes of
life
New Earth
goal.
days, right?
Yeah.
But in the age of Dota 2, where they're deeper into adulthood and stuff, like it's really that combination of No-Tail and Seb who went through the most incredible experiences, and those kind of trials, both like being able to get those successes, but also the trials, the awfulness.
Yeah.
It really binds you together with somebody.
It really does. I think the international really binds to us all. It's an international tournament that has been around for 9 years already, and a 10th hopefully next year as well. And with that in mind, special announcement for you.
Dandy, he goes for the dream call, he gets him. Navi have just won $1 million.
Patience from Zoe. Navi is about to be caught. Oh, this could be a total disaster. Vacuuming. Ravage on everyone. Alliance are doing this. The Kings of the North. Alliance wins. The Chrono's on 2. Brain dead for VG.
BPD, here comes the Ice Blast, ready for the turn!
Liquid have done it.
Is it Armel set?
The International is a celebration of the enormous power of professional Dota and of the community that has taken part in the journey from the very first International to the one we're all watching today. Next year, Stockholm is excited to host this global celebration by welcoming the 10th International Dota 2 Championship to our wonderful city. And Stockholm is bursting of creativity, and the passion for Dota runs deep. And we are honored to host the world in cheering on your favorite teams while paying a tribute to a decade of champions as they compete for the most prestigious trophy in all of esports.
Stockholm, Sweden, home to some of the grassroots tournaments in Dota 1, in Dota 2, home to, of course, all the dream hacks that people went to in your 9, your 12. You grow up with that, you grow up with that LAN experience, and now home to the International 2020. Or TI10, now we got to choose.
The International is back to Europe, baby, after all these years.
You finally did it.
Yes,
you got
we
in
did.
here, show up to TI, and look where it goes next.
Is it still not on the other side of Europe for you?
Nah, it's still closer than all the other teams.
That's true.
I mean, does this confirm Europe as the strongest region?
I think,
Besides 2 teams being in the Grand Finals?
and 3 of them being in the top 4.
I just hope people don't start taking this as, oh, it must be if the champions, whoever wins the H is going to be able to get the
No.
International in their region.
Anna tried his hardest for
because
it.
it'll never come back to the U.S. if that's the case.
Come on. And it can be. I think people, though, underestimate the amount of prep that goes into, creating a tournament like this. You can't decide a year before, let's go anywhere. You got to do that like a year and a half in advance, or at least a year and a half, I think, something like that. I don't know. I don't organize tournaments. I just, talk about them lovingly, actually. And I'm going to also talk about these grand finals, because we have talked a lot about the roads these teams have taken. We haven't really talked too much about the players in those teams. And I want to do that too, because these 2 teams, as much as they have an immense history together in terms of performing against each other, they also have some intricacies in terms of players. We got on one side, in the OG side, there's Jarex. And on the other side, in the Liquid side, it's Miracle. This is, by the way, some live footage. Players getting ready to enter the pod. If you're wondering,
He's doing his stretches.
At first, I thought No-Tail. Like the first shot of him holding out both arms, I was like, is this some sort of meditation technique or what's going on here? But obviously, they're making sure that.
So they can't. Why we see all the stacks of papers is because you can't take any technology into the booth. The phones are taken away by the admins as well. You saw them still holding it because that's the only thing you can kind of still have, and the rest is gonna it's just paper, nothing else. Obviously, fair playing field and all that.
A lot of paper.
Big
A lot
stacks
of paper. I'm expecting everybody to be carrying around stacks. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like the first time they did that didn't really work out as well. You know, that first game that OG had against PSG LGD wasn't their strongest one.
Do they need the stacks of paper, though? They're not
Do they?
matched up against LGD anymore. Just watched Liquid watching themselves on the TV screen. That was a very cute
Get
moment.
that infinite vision, like, whoa, yeah, there we go.
It's always fun to see the players like laughing a little bit beforehand. There's a lot of talk about what you do right before TI. Maybe, for example, or sorry, not FY. Rather, he like goes out and takes a smoke.
Yeah.
And I see him always like outside just before the match. He just tries to calm down. Some of the players try and make a little jokes to lighten the mood a little bit and not let everything that starts sinking in.
Yeah, no tail like riding on the back of
Yep.
socks, you know,
Yeah.
everything like that.
All right. You guys, it is time to get this international 2019 Grand Finals started in style. All the way from the lower bracket, it is Team Liquid ready to take the stage. A chance for the second ages of 4 of those players. Chance for the first for Weeha, of course, but all 5 of them experienced with the pressure coming from performing on the grand stage of the International in the Grand Finals. Their opponents, OG. The defending champions of the International 2018, now again on the grand stage of the International 2019, OG taking the stage, ready to face up against what some would say is their nemesis, Team Liquid, and they look ready. Smiles are had, cheers are had by the crowd. I cannot wait to get this match started. A best of 5 between 2 giants in Dota 2.
Nemesis, rivals, friends. The lines get blurry, right?
Yeah.
Dota 2 is such a tight community in many ways, and you want to be friends with some of these players. In fact, you might end up being teammates with them in the future, or maybe you were in the past. But in this moment, they're going to be the bitter rivals.
And you can see the 7 there already just amped them. They look exactly like last year, right? He's in there. I can read some lips as to what he's saying. Maybe not broadcast friendly there, but he is hyping up that team, getting them ready in the booth. The drums of war are playing, and finally it is time. They've been sitting back there. They've been watching everything. The crowd is ready, as you can hear.
That cheer was for Seb.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people that said, you know, they're not going to cheer as loud as for a PSG LGD. And while that might be true, these people are not silent. They are definitely cheering their hearts out. I also want to take you back to a moment when we talked to, or when Casey talked to Kuro yesterday. What did he say? What did he say?
I don't know, but I guess we'll have to find out later.
We're finding out later. I can tell you what he said.
That would be good.
That will be good. He said...
Do you do an impression or no?
No, there's no way.
I just want to make sure.
I think that would be disrespectful to a lot of people. No, he basically said after the group stages, and we all knew OG was crushing it, Liquid at the bottom of the barrel, and they are both people that with an unhealthy habit for which they need to go outside. This is what happened.
No Tail's ready for you in the grand final. He told us in his interview that Liquid is who he's been waiting to face.
Yeah, well, basically after the group stage, Note and I met in the balcony, and so he was in the upper bracket. I was like top 16. And I asked him to wait me in the finals. Like I'm gonna try to go there all the way, and I mean I hope we can do it. Yeah.
This is like a movie. Meet me in the finals.
Yeah, some history there. I really love seeing these two going head to head. And actually, overall, historically, it has been Liquid that has been victorious when facing OG. You want to take a little bit of a jab at their head-to-head results, Trent?
How many we talk, like a percentage?
Okay, no,
here?
I have the actual games, and they are a total of exactly 50 games.
50 games against each other. I'm gonna say Liquid 30. No, Liquid 29.
I'm gonna say Liquid 32 against 18.
Cap, you want to go
Can I go prices right on this and say 33?
It's 33.
Oh, got him.
You're the worst.
No, Liquid
I'm
has
the best.
Has a 33.
He saw that note before. No way.
No, you said 32.
Well, I was.
So I just went
I'm
one
just
up?
good. I'm paying attention. You know,
No,
writing stuff down. Where's your book?
I have it all up here because I pay attention.
Are you saying it's
I
okay,
memorize
Jason?
all of
I
my
got,
notes. For example, did you know that GH in an interview going into this group stage, he said that
Yes,
he
I
did
did.
expect that OG was going to be a very tough opponent. They knew that going into this international. They fully expected that. And in a lot of ways, GH said that they admired OG and they want to be able to replicate some of what OG does best, just turn it, a little bit into their flavor. Maybe he was talking about hero picks and stuff, but who knew that he was actually talking about OG being able to make a run through a lower bracket at a DPC event all the way into the finals, maybe even taking it.
I'm not surprised that other teams are stealing other teams' strat. We saw Team Secret playing the carry IO, and they definitely stole it from OG. No
Our man
doubt
said
about
it himself, right? There's no shame in copying strats.
As
There's
long
no
as
shame
you
in
maybe do
stealing
it
or
better.
no shame in admitting.
Both, I think.
It's a big, isn't it? There's a saying about it being the imitation is the biggest form of flattery.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, what you're doing is really good. We're gonna try to do the same because we think that's the way to play. That's a big compliment. I do think these two teams have a little bit of different styles of playing Dota, but I do think both are very active early on. I think we're gonna have some fun with these games, Cap.
Yeah, I think we are too, because 33 out of 50.
33
I mean, that's still relatively close. And there were some times where OG were a little bit shaky as a roster, where Liquid maintained constant dominance. They were always one of those teams that were top 3 once they really got into form, and they just never really let that go. So here, it feels like the odds are 50-50 in many ways. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I don't know about that.
You have a favorite here?
I think this might be, I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but this looks like it could be another 3-0 or 3-1 to me.
For who?
In favor of
OG. OG, you're terrifying. Have you guys been watching these games?
Yeah,
Hello?
but they got Alchemist.
Let me check my
They got
notes.
Alchemist twice to be able to get into the grand finals.
Oh, they
All
don't
right?
need
Curl's
Alchemist.
not going to do that.
So if they don't have Alchemist, they have the IO.
But have you
Yeah,
seen
but
the,
Liquid also has the IO.
The same IO? Does it look like Anna's IO?
Maybe it's a different kind of IO,
It's a
but
much
it's just
worse
as good.
IO.
I mean,
you know?
both of
Oh,
these
I don't
teams
know
know
about
how
that.
to play IO, so
Yes.
they know how to counter it unless they decide to ban it out if they don't have a first pick.
We're going to find out about
a lot of
all
mind
that,
games.
later on. When you guys talk about performing, these teams are no stranger to being in the grand finals. Liquid and OG actually themselves were in the grand finals of the Manila Major. OG won that one, even though Liquid kind of feels that they should have. If you talk to them, also at that point, it was Jarex indeed on OG and Miracle on. Actually, it was Jarex on Liquid and Miracle on OG. Liquid has also been in the grand finals of the Shanghai Major, where Weeha was actually successful against them. Now he's with the team. Perhaps that's what they needed. But they haven't won a major. Am I correct in saying that? Or did they win the
just
Epicenter
TI
major
winners.
last
That's
year?
it.
Just TI winners.
Yeah, all that
you know.
matters.
Yeah, potato. No, all of these players have tremendous experience. Sebastian has been to 5 TIs. If you don't count talent or wild cards, and 3 of those were as a player. This is his 5th TI. He's been talented too. This is your second year as talent, right, Trent?
Yeah, that's true.
Does that mean you're gonna, transition into coach, into player? You're gonna do the same route.
He's making spot for me. That's good. I need him up there, or else I run into some trouble.
Seb
That's why you're saying 3-0 for OG.
Yeah.
You don't want Seb to quit.
No,
I don't
Seb,
think-
keep going, buddy. You got this.
I don't think anyone made the transition from straight out talent to coach or player. Like, you need to be a player before.
Yeah.
Have you been a
I'd
player
hope so.
before?
No. In fact, the only people foolish enough to hire me were Complexity during that TI5 run. So there you go. See how that worked out for old Kyle.
Wasn't great.
Good thing he's gone.
But are you hinting at something here, Lacoste? Would you ever consider going as a coach? Like, obviously, you see Soxka on the stage. Soxka used to be also a TI1, TI2. He played wildcards TI3. He's no stranger to the Dota 2 scene, especially to the early Dota 2 scene, where you were also an active player
Yes,
part of that.
I try to coach a little bit the Serbian/Croatian squad, the Elements Pro Gaming, during the Boston Major. Well, that didn't end well, but here I am now. I don't know. Coaching is a bit hard. Someone in the interview talked about, I think it was Heen, who said, like, I can coach you, but I don't know what to do. I've never done it before. So just do your own thing. I don't know. I think there's a lot of smart people in the community who can be coaches, but you don't have the chance to prove it. I'm not talking about myself. Don't worry.
Well, I was talking to Heen, and he was saying that he wished he had more time. I was like, geez, you already had quite a bit of time with TNC, but he still wants more time. It's like it never ends, right? And I think the idea of coaching is that you have to really be there. You have to be a part of that family in order to do the best possible job. Coaching is not a thing where you can just like show up to the LAN and be like, hey guys, so what are we doing this time? Like it's not even enough to be at the boot camps. I think you really need this like full-on team dynamic of just like we are together all the time, all the year, becoming a single unit if you want the full effectiveness
The hardest
of a coach.
part is when team is not doing well. This is when you struggle. Like, you can see the players arguing against each other. When things are going smoothly, you can kind of look like a good coach.
I can be a good weather coach.
Yeah.
It's the most difficult thing to be a bad weather coach, though. Can you take your squad out of a rut and bring it to greatness? That is kind of the only time you're really tested.
I think you kind of have to be like the hardest worker on the team. We heard Curl actually compliment his coach, Roman, RMN. And this is a guy that I think in order to be a good coach, you just have to have a passion for Dota that doesn't exist with anybody else. You have to have been one of those people who's so passionate about the game, you tried to go and play pro, right? Because you loved it so much, you were playing it so much, and you got that good because you cared so much about the game. And Armin was one of those guys. He was a semi-pro. He was playing for Team Goomba. I casted many of a tier 3.
All the German style.
Me and you, we're casting the tier 3 games together. Team Goomba.
His name goes back in the Dota 1 days as well. I know Roman for 10 plus years probably.
It's actually very interesting if you look into the history of all those tier 3 Dota 2 stacks, because a lot of these people that are on the stage right now play together at some point. We have Mind Control. Obviously, everybody knows that he came from the FPL ranked leaderboard list when he joined Liquid. But before that, he was a part of basically Unknown.
Yeah, that roster was like
It was
like a
Seb
revolving
and Sochka.
door, right?
Yeah, it was a revolving door. There were a lot of people on there, but two people that he actually spent time on a team with were Seb and Sochka. I thought that was very interesting. Also, I'm going to ask you guys a pop quiz.
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy.
You ready?
Yes.
Another one of those rotating door teams. Balkan Bears.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we got this one.
Okay.
There were 5 players in this TI, and a couple that are on stage, that were in Balkan Bears.
Okay, we got the easy one, the gimme. We got Weehaw. And
Weehaw.
Miracle. Miracle, another gimme.
We have Miracle, both on stage, both used to
was
be up.
Yapsor on it?
Yes, he
Yeah,
was.
so it was.
I don't think you're going to guess the other two.
Was it
Hold on,
No Tail?
It was not No Tail.
They were here in
Good
TI.
guess, though.
They are here in TI. They were part of the, they are part of the 16. Top
I remember
16.
at one point in time, Balkan Bears pulled in like a somewhat well-known name, but he was a little bit like washed up at a time.
None of these people
Wasn't
are from
Misery.
Balkan, though.
No, that's
No, these two people will not be from the Balkans.
Stop. She's got us.
All right,
Yes,
give
shall I
us
just
the
say it?
first letter.
From which one? From the first or the second?
First
All right,
one.
Care,
First one.
just give it to us.
F. There's not that many
Is it
people.
Fada? Fada was on Balkan Bears?
No.
Are there any other Fs?
It's not FY for sure.
You sure you didn't make it?
There's really nobody else with another F. It's Fly.
Ah.
And the other one starts with a
Same
P.
region. Yeah.
Pili Die. I'll spoil it for you.
Okay.
What is
Fly was the
interesting
name I was thinking.
is that with those Balkan Bears, Miracle and Weehaw obviously both used to be mid players, and they kind of kept replacing each other. They swapped back and forth in terms of being on the squad, getting kicked and replaced by the other, and then vice versa again as well. So I thought that was kind of a nice thing. And now obviously they get the chance to play together. But isn't that crazy that all those grassroots teams of people struggling to make it as a profession?
Yeah.
There, there are success stories in
Well,
there.
what's even harder than that, too, is that you hear sometimes, like, Miracle or Yapsor talk about people who they played with back home. They're like, oh, this guy was so good.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what if that same person was given those opportunities? Like, I've heard them talk about guys who played these WHGs, and there's like, Aframoosh or like Hook. Like, I know from that region, there's like, these guys are so good.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because you were just like so close to being a part of this. And then that just like drives you further to want to try that, depending on like the boundaries in your life to go for it. But obviously these guys fully committed, and this is what they've done with it.
Many of them have been kicked or experienced. Like we talk about like the failure that happens at TI, but like at least you got to TI and you experienced some level of success and you managed to make some money. But before all of that was the grind where you weren't making that money. You were getting kicked out of teams, or your teams would disband or something like that. And you would experience failure after failure after failure. And I think in many ways it hardened some of these players and continue to strengthen their resolve to push past. And now when they experience the same kind of failures on a much larger scale, they're ready for it.
Yeah, if you want to fully commit, there's going to be ups and downs for sure, but you need to go through those downs, and it is the hardest part.
Apart from one player on the stage that didn't run through the grind. He started playing his first professional results were in 2017. And then he got to 2018. He's like, okay, let's win this thing. I'm talking about Thompson, of course. He is one of the few royal roaders we have. I'm adopting the term.
You can't tell, though, because the way that he walks onto stage, I think he has the most swag of any player here at TI. I think out of all the walkouts I've seen, he's got the broad shoulders all of a sudden. He hasn't cut his hair yet. He's doing this.
You know why.
Can we get a close-up on Trent while he does that, please?
I mean, you can just put me side by side by
Keep
Thompson.
that swagger going,
it's the
baby.
exact same thing. It's just there's
yeah.
a death stare, and he's just walking.
And the hair is flowing behind.
Yeah, it's like blowing in the wind. The smoke comes through.
Keep going, Trent. Keep going.
All right,
that man right there.
Yeah, that's him.
He's got about 8 brothers, right? I think that's where that comes from.
Yes, that's right. The top son.
You know, you gotta swag out each other. You gotta be.
And he got him. That's all I'm saying. No, that guy won TI. He's like, where are you at now, siblings?
I mean,
I'm a successful engineer. I have a lawyer practice. I play video games that have made millions of dollars. Top son, baby.
Every dinner he's just popping off.
I mean, it's pretty amazing that we call him a royal roader because he won his TI in the first try, and now he's in the finals again. What do you call someone that wins 2 TIs 2 times in a row? The only TIs I've ever played.
Retired, man. I'm out of here. See you later.
No. That's Anna's line. That's Anna's line.
Okay.
He's just here for the paycheck. Whoop.
When we talk about Team Liquid, they also have, of course, a Royal Roader there, Lacoste. You got GH.
Well, yeah,
Holding on off the
GH
top.
also came out of nowhere, I would say, and suddenly he's here about to win second TI. And I mean, there's a lot of skilled players from the region where he's coming from, and you mentioned Aframouche and Mage,
Yeah,
Hook.
Mage.
There's a lot of skilled players that need to be given opportunity. Also, I think
Yeah.
the scene there is actually growing, like
Yeah.
really flourishing.
I mean, if you talk about people given a chance, Miracle came out of nowhere. Anna came out of nowhere. That was a big question mark when OG picked him up. GH also out of nowhere. These 10 players on stage, they all were giving a shot at a time. There's obviously a couple of grinders at the top there. Kuroki, and we haven't really talked about him yet because we have said so much about Kuro already. He's been at all 9 internationals, multiple grand finals. I think this is his third. Won one of them, and he started playing well before the first TI. He said he started playing Dota in 2008. You know, he's had over a decade of experience there. It is crazy to think that he is still on top of his game, able to be on top of his game. There's not a lot of players that could say that.
Yeah, I like the fact that we do have this narrative of all these new players who've been given a chance, because there was a history of Dota, both Dota 1 and a lot of Dota 2 history. Probably the first 3-4 years where the people who got the chance to be able to play professionally, it was very tightly held. It was considered that like pubs, it wasn't really a good true sense of skill, and it came down to getting an opportunity to try out for a team. And that obviously came with being able to know somebody and have someone vouch for you. And there's a lot of stories about that. You know, like
we had
1437, you know, got vouched by Fear, for example. There's a lot like that.
That was the word back then, man. The vouch. That
Yeah.
was like, that's all you needed. You
We
needed
had
in
some
that in-house.
In-house leagues, yes.
You tried not to get 1v1 out of the in-house league.
Yeah.
Also very important, but that's where a lot of these teams came from.
It really is. It's impressive. Hey, every time, if you think back of all of the internationals, you know, every international is known for something. TA8, OG Cinderella run. You got TA7, lower bracket run for Liquid. You know, everything has something. What is this TI gonna be known for?
Best group stage.
Second TI winner. I mean,
Second TI winner.
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of
I think that's gonna overshadow
mega creep
everything
comebacks.
at this time.
Handsomest English final panel.
Oh, also true.
I like it.
Thanks
I
to
like
Lacoste.
Thank you.
It's a snazzy shoot.
It really is. I do want to, you know, cater also to people that don't really watch Dota at all. You know, hello, I know you're there. Tune in once a year. We love to have you, and we love to talk to you about all the players we have playing on stage. You know, we have obviously a big passion for the game, and we love to share that passion. And I want to, you know, set the story for you for these two teams facing each other. And obviously, as Trent just mentioned, there is a chance of well, first of all, there's a chance of a back-to-back TI champion. That is crazy. And then there's, regardless, going to be a 2-time champion at this International 2019.
And
now, what other stories should people be aware of? Like, just the people stories.
Well, why should they play Dota, is what I would say. I mean, if you're here and you're just watching once a year, I think we need to change that. They should come and play
more often.
Dota.
Or watching more often. You know, Dota is a spectator sport.
Yeah,
as
just
well.
come for us. That's also fine. But if you want to, you know, get some more enjoyment and learn more about the game, even if you think you're going to be terrible, even if you think it might not be the best time, you are going to thoroughly enjoy these games a lot more if you play Dota. You can learn more. You can appreciate what these players are doing a heck of a lot more when you try and do similar things and go, wow, this is very difficult.
Yeah. I played Eon of Strife, Tides of Blood, then I switched to Dota when it came out. Now I'm playing Dota 2. It's been probably 15 years combined. It's basically half of my life. I'm not that young, even though I look young. So 15 years of Dota, and look where it got me.
And how
so
many
start
friends have
playing
you made
Dota.
along the way?
A lot of
In
friends.
15 years' time,
many
you too
enemies have
could
you
be up
made
on
along
this
the way?
panel.
A bit less, I would say. And I do have a lot of friends.
It's a community. It's an ever-changing game.
Yeah.
It's the hardest. Nothing is more satisfying than getting better at Dota.
Yeah, it is definitely the deepest game in that regard, both when it comes to the mechanics and strategy, but the history, right?
Yeah.
Like we're talking about, like I think that's what makes Dota 2 as an esport really interesting, is the very, very deep history that starts with that kind of grassroots buildup. You really can't get that kind of a faithful esport than something that has been built up from the ground, just purely through fans loving the game, loving a custom mod of a game that's in another game. You know, trying to explain that to your friends. You sound real dumb, believe me,
The best
I tried.
feeling in Dota is when you hang out with your friends on TeamSpeak or whatever and play with them after 10 p.m. Your belly is full, you know, and enemy team is trying to fall back to their base, and that's the best feeling. You're trying to kick them when they're down. You're chasing them to their base. That's
kind of like OG bristleback in the fountain, that kind of stuff. That was peak Dota on the stage.
We're trying to send happy thoughts here. Okay?
That's happy thoughts.
That's very happy for one team.
Yeah, you might have to be a little bit on the other side too when you're still learning.
We raise ourselves up by tearing each other down. That's what we do in Dota.
Come on over. We need more to tear down.
We need more foundation.
All right, guys. Let's also not forget that we are at the moment the biggest. We have the biggest prize pool in all of esports history, with all the different games combined. Well, not combined, but you know, all the different games there. Over $34 million, and the winner gets 45% of that, which is just over 15 million.
Yeah, there's your 34 million reasons to start playing Dota.
Yeah, play Dota right now. Because it's actually surprising, you know, some of the younger squads, everybody is always, you know, younger people, normally better, blah, blah. Not here. Experience, we heard Puppy say it earlier as well when he got eliminated. He said the best practice for the International is playing at the International. Now, you don't get that chance very often, and you need some of that experience before you can, you know, securely win an International. Of course, that doesn't go for all people, but for in most cases, that is true.
Yeah, it took him almost 200 games of the International to be able to lead a squad confidently. I mean, you even heard, like, back when he was a veteran of the TI5, TI6 days, you know, we saw that there was some issues happening there, and you just need to be able to grind out that experience, just like you have to do with everything else in Dota 2.
Grind out the experience. Or watch. You can watch. You don't have to play.
Don't let them off easy.
So
make them play.
They're watching right now. We should appreciate that fact.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you. When you see Liquid and OG going up against each other head to head, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, Lacoste?
Europe.
All right.
Says the European.
All right, we got, because both of these squads are from the European region, and throughout the year, there's always a lot of discussion. What is the strongest region? And I think that this iteration, this DPC Season 2, and the finale, of course, right here in Shanghai, it is a clear answer, clear winner. We have 2 European teams in the finals, and in the top 4, there were 3 even. I see some people.
I don't want to engage in this conversation.
They got us on this one.
The 2 North Americans are who we automatically checked out. Hey, let's talk about this strongest region. You know, just wait till next year. We've got somebody on the draft panel who is going to do great work for us in North America.
No
by the way, another person who got into Dota thanks to Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Tsunami play.
Gunnar got into it off of TF2.
Yeah, there it is.
Listen, Cap, I appreciate the well wishes, but you know, I think the world isn't ready for me. Oh, right, Gunnar, you're also pretty good. I think.
Hi.
You're a hell of a player.
Yeah, I try.
And this must be incredibly enticing for you to see. You see all the storylines and everything like that. You could be that rookie player next time.
I can make my own story.
Oh, you gonna write it with Febby, hopefully?
Yo, Febby, can we claim you as NA as well?
Oh yeah,
he's played in our region for a while.
He's Canadian. He's my boy.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot you're Canadian. My bad.
When people talk about, sorry guys, I'm gonna cut you off for a little bit again. You gotta prep, and you gotta make sure that you say a lot of smart things about the draft that is to come very soon. Because I wanna talk more about the players, because often when you're talking about OG, you're talking about all the players, and I feel like a lot of people feel like Jerix is left out. And I wanna praise him a little bit here, because he is on the finals again, and he is a phenomenal player. He actually also, he went to Korea at some point. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna start making this a career. I'm gonna move to Korea and play professionally there. He played, like he is an old school player. He played together with Sunby and Hina in TI at some point.
That's one of those big leaps.
Yeah.
Talk about people like maybe knocking an opportunity in certain regions. He made an opportunity, right? He took a massive leap to do something
Yes.
like that into an area that wasn't very well developed. Of course, I mean, Blitz and Purge throughout there.
Dota-wise.
So they were able to try and bring that scene up a little bit, and then there's the man himself.
What was that
Look
team?
how happy he is now.
MVP Hot 6?
MVP Hot 6, yeah.
Yes.
And he did that after he is finished, of course. And when you're finished, you have to do military service. So he did that after his military service. He moved to Korea.
That was like some
that
sleeping.
smile, that hair, that must be Jarek's. Also, the dude's a smoke breaker. I think he breaks the most smokes in the game. I don't know if we don't talk a lot about Jarek's, but I do for sure. Like the dude's just a beast.
It really is.
His positioning in team fights is extremely well. You can always see him doing stuff. Has a buyback when it's needed. Does not hesitate to use it at all. His decision making is in basically milliseconds.
Yeah, he definitely enables the OG playstyle that they want to be able to go for. This was a conscious decision that they made. They decided, how do we want to play? We want to be aggressive. We want to be able to play in the enemy's face all the time. They made that decision that was going to be their playstyle. They're probably the best at it. And as a result, they're here at the International. It goes to show, like, you can make different kind of playstyles work. We've seen a lot of different ones here at the TI.
He's a very good risk calculator. I feel like maybe he swings and he misses on a few plays, but overall, I feel like he is a guy who I see take some roll in an Earth Spirit or something. I'm just like, oh god, that's so dangerous, and then he hits it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god. If any player had to miss that, this turns into a double kill the other way, but he's consistent, right? He sets up those massive plays for OG, so we will talk about him. We will watch him.
We will really, really watch him, and we will also do so very, very soon. I know you guys have been waiting for a while to get this started, and it is finally time for the Grand Finals of the International 2019.
OG versus Team Liquid. Grand Finals, Game 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. That's right. It's OG versus Team Liquid Grand Finals International 2019. And I hope you're in it for the long haul because this is a best-of-5 series. First team to take 3 games will win this entire tournament. As you saw earlier, I'm joined here by Gunnar and Febby. And as they had briefly mentioned on the panel, this is 2 European teams. And this is the first time that 2 teams from the same region have been competing in TI Grand Finals since 2014, which it was Vici Gaming and Newbie.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you really quickly, as we are soon getting into this draft, what's it like playing another team for your region, and what's like the scrim culture? Because obviously, when someone's very close to you geographically, it makes sense to play them frequently in scrims. So what kind of information do you get during scrims? Are you more trying to figure out what you're good at, or are you trying to figure out what the enemy team is bad at? You're trying to figure out new strats, you're trying to play heroes. What exactly do teams get by doing scrims?
Well, a lot of the times in tournaments, whenever same region teams play each other, you'll see that there's like upsets, right? Where it's like this really strong team that could be like top 6, top 4, whatever, is getting knocked out by, like maybe a top 12 team or something like that from their same region. And it's because they play each other, like you said, a lot, right? They know their strats, they know the way they like to draft, they know the players, especially from pubs. Like you play the pubs with some player, this guy likes to pick these type of heroes, he likes to kind of make this stuff around the map, and sure, it's not in a competitive as aspect all times, but you get a feel for all the players. So that's why a lot of the times, like here, I'm expecting to see the games be like a little closer than OG's like normal run, right?
Right. And Liquid are doing a good job to make sure that doesn't happen, as we see in the first phase bans already taking away a lot of the things that OG have been proving to be extremely powerful on, the IO, the Magnus, and the Alchemist.
And but OG do get Enchantress.
They do.
Which they're probably like the best Enchantress team right now because they play 5.
Mm-hmm.
So if you try to like super hard counter this Enchantress, you pick some like Lightstealer, Gyro. These are like okay counters, but you pick some hard counter to the edge and they put it on no-tail and then call it a day, give Seb a new hero.
Is Chen one of those heroes? Because I know back in the day when both these heroes used to be all about getting neutral creeps, it seemed that there was a real give and take between Enchantress and Chen. Both these heroes have kind of changed their role, Febby. Why exactly do you think Liquid goes for the Chen to respond to this Enchantress?
I think they're looking to group up early and push early and just like have a better early to mid team fight. I think that's what they're thinking right now, especially with the Tide pickup as well.
Also, both heroes in the early game have changed their playstyle a lot. It used to be Enchantress would go for Enchant a lot. She'd get a creep, the Wildkin, she'd have a little bonus armor, she'd have a Tornado. and that would be like her lane support, right? And now she's more getting heal and untouchable, and she's kind of just right-clicking your carry. And Chen, on the other hand, he has his new passive ability. I guess it's not a passive anymore, right?
It's got a passive component and an active component.
Active, yeah,
so
but
the
the
Divine
passive
Favor gives the aura, and then obviously the active teleports you around the map.
So the passive gives you everyone HP regen in an area, and increases the HP regen by percentage. So now a lot of the Chens you'll see they buy a headdress, which also gives everyone bonus 2 HP regen. So now everyone from level 1 in Chen's lane is going to have like 5 HP regen. When they pair it with a hero like Tidehunter, that guy doesn't take damage. So they can kind of match these lanes up, the two from Liquid, put them in any hard lane, and they're going to get a lot out of it.
I want to talk about like the meta a little bit in TI because I played in I think 3 or 4 TIs. I think it was 3, and I've been watching other TIs as well. So the meta shifts twice in TI. Once is after the group stage ends and when the what is this called? The
main event.
The main events for our starts. Like a lot of teams like take like those few days.
Especially during the 1 day break, right? There's a day break between the groups and the main stage.
Yeah, they study everything and they decide like what's really good in the meta. And we've been kind of seeing tiny void popping up in the main stage. And at the grand finals, meta shifts again. The first game kind of doesn't matter. It feels good if you win. But I think like Liquid from the first pick bans, because that's like the most important, because that actually shifts your the whole pick ban. So I think this is going to be a really important match to see if they are able to actually beat OG's Enchantress, because it's going to give them a huge edge if they win this, if they are able to beat the Enchantress, because they can play it themselves too.
It's also kind of crazy if you look at this, that OG gets first pick, right, this game? And look at their bans compared to Liquid bans. Liquid has to ban like 3 of these like game-winning cores, right? Yeah. And OG gets to pick, you know, they ban this AA, so it's like it forces you to ban the AUG.
That's what I was getting into. Like OG has a lot of heroes that Liquid needs to first ban. Meanwhile, it's not the same for the other. So yeah.
Yeah, bans against Liquid seems to be more targeted towards Miracle during the ending phases of the draft, because usually you got to be worried about these random anti-mages coming out or something like that. You're not concerned about that happening in the first phase of the draft, so you're just kind of trying to establish your strategy. So for these two teams specifically, as we see a Rubik come out for Liquid, do you think it's more in Liquid's, like the ball is in Liquid's court to kind of figure out what OG is up to, and OG's just like, we're just going to play our own Dota. If you can beat it, then we'll maybe start sweating for game 2, but for right now, you got to prove that you can even take 1 game off of us.
OG right now, they looked at Dota buff. They searched TI9, looked at the heroes from the main event, saw the highest win percentages and pick rates, and clicked the top 3.
These seem like good heroes.
And they're hoping that they're going to work together and win them a game of Dota.
Okay.
And Liquid is doing their own style, right?
Yes.
Like this TA is Weeha's hero ever since he joined Liquid. Even before Liquid, he would play it like on Chaos, he'd play a lot. But they first picked it the entire time last major. They started first picking it last series. I think it's like their comfort way of playing. It gives them map vision, it gives them a, like almost always a 50-50 lane at worst.
Yeah.
Even if it's like horrible, you can go jungle like in the Huskar lane, right? He can just jungle, catch up, and come back in the mid late game.
I think right now OG is thinking of picking Void or not. Like they're taking their time because this pick is going to kind of determine their win condition.
I think they're wondering about, they probably saw the last match, right? Which was a Void versus TA.
Yes.
And they saw how that probably panned out, how the TA just like, you know, 3-shot the Void. You can't get time walk off, doesn't really matter. So they're probably considering if they're actually going to be scared of this TA and they need to pick, you know, more of a safer carry against the TA, like a Spectre.
They're going to go for a hard carry option, but one that obviously is very, very strong against TA. Once the Spectre gets that Radiance online, suddenly TA's Refraction is just completely nullified pretty much.
Also, Spectre's a common Manta buyer. That's one of the things you want on an Agi hero versus TA. It serves 2 functions. You can dodge or move the Meld Strike, and also burns the Refraction instantly, because you have 3 different heroes.
It is not a carry hero that we see much here at TI9, but it is really amazing against Liquid supports right now. Those 2 squishy, the single target supports, the backline supports. It's really easy for the Spectre to go on Liquid's backline right now.
So the cool thing about Spectre this tournament is people are like doubling down on the late game on it. They go Midas on Spectre as their first item.
But what about the days of the old Vanguard Spectre where you're just like, no, I'll be able to make it to the late game. You're like, listen, either win or lose, this Spectre is going to get super farmed. It's up to you to end the game. And they were going Midas?
Yeah, it's like a lot of carries are going more. You have to get a lot of the map these days, right? That's why these heroes like Alchemist and Meepo, like for Liquid, right? That's their Meepo. Like these, even Arcward, these heroes get more gold out of their gold.
Right.
Alchemist just gets double the gold from last hits. Arcward gets double the gold from
Midas.
Having, well, double Midas, but also in team fights he has 2 sets of items.
True.
Meepo gets 4 times the stats, right? So they have a lot of like functions that, since these teams playing the map so well these days, and they can't really like, you know, force people away from the map, that stuff like that is just really strong.
These heroes from Liquid side, it's really familiar too. I remember it punishing the Race King draft. These heroes want to play fast, and that's what Spectre is kind of scared about. So laning phase is really important for both sides, because if Liquid gets to win, then they're just going to start snowballing.
OG last ban a Gyro and then pick up a Pugna.
So I think that's going to be a mid Pugna versus TA. The matchup's a lot better now than it has been, and even when the Pugna at 6, the TA has a really hard time laning against him. And they'll probably try to lane this tiny top, I guess. I think the tiny top's a little safer than the Pugna, but they can always swap the lanes around based on this last pick from Liquid.
I was thinking Liquid's gonna pick a hero like Troll to amplify the early mid game, but because of the Pugna pick, it can get kited real rare, so... Oh,
So Liquid want to take that Spectre game to the next level. Another hero that can quickly amplify his own farm. Meepo, the last pick on Team Liquid.
That pushes TA to safe lane, I guess?
Yes.
It's a very early, fast tempo. Spectre's not going to have a lot of room to breathe. It's pretty good late game, so yeah, it looks like a really good last pick Meepo.
So then does this change the side lane Liquid situation for OG? Like, are you going to move the Tiny around or the Elder Titan around elsewhere? Because you still got a Spectre that you got to babysit.
Probably not. The thing that's kind of scary for Liquid is OG has an ET, right? And ET is so good against Meepo.
Yes.
You get Astro Hero damage from each Meepo. You get the aura on all the Meepos. You can stomp all the Meepos. They're always going to be clumped. You're always going to these big team fights. So that's the one big question I have about this Meepo pick.
And Elder Titan is a hero that we've been seeing a lot of strength of just in the laning phase. Even before the multiple Meepos come online or something like that, he's going to be getting a ton of damage from that Astral Spirit.
Yeah, but individually you're right, but I think the way these heroes work together right now, Liquid's heroes, they all complement each other in the early mid game. So it's gonna be pretty hard if they win if OG loses the lanes. The lanes are really important this game.
All right then, let's hear some of the justification from Team Liquid's coach, Roman.
All right, Roman, you are now drafting in a grand final. Curious from your perspective, is it any different, your approach to the draft, now that you know that you've got 5 games instead of 3, or is the preparation the same?
It's slightly different simply because you have, let me put it this way, you can drop 1 game. Basically, it's a, how to put it? You get more time to play, basically.
How do you feel about your draft right now?
I think we have a very comfort draft this time. We played a very similar draft before in this tournament, so I feel good.
All right, well, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, back to you guys as we get this first game going.
Thank you very much, Casey, and welcome everyone to the 2019 Grand Finals, a best of 5 between Team Liquid and OG. I'm Odie Pixel here with Fold. We've just seen the draft. It's all very exciting, right? We have Liquid, they raise up the TA, then out comes the Pugna, and then they say, well, we're going to switch it around. We're going to bring out the Meepo, but, and there's a big but, right, Fogs? There's something kind of good on OG's side.
There is a good Elder Titan pick for that Meepo. This should be a really interesting one. We look at OG, like you said, this is what happens when we get to the later stages, and of course in the finals of TI. It's all about counter picks and just mind games. Like you said, they just swap the lanes around immediately just from the picks. And even though you don't see too often that these swaps happen, it's gonna be those mind games. Because immediately, look who's actually playing the Meepo, and look at his items. Those aren't mid items on our Meepo. Those are side lane item Meepos. So that's already a big change up there. They're going to be seeing the player. They're going to be Weehaws playing Meepo. Of course it's going to be mid. So now we're going to see if they can actually scout the lane. Weehaws just going to hide. He has to hide this to make sure that OG does get caught off guard on it.
It's looking and talk to me about this then. The Elder Titan, a hero that we've seen a lot of drafts where, for other reasons, there could have been the reason to pick the Meepo, but it hasn't come out. What makes this hero so scary for the Meepos out there?
A lot of the times, of course, you get that big amount of damage that can work for Astro, but it's a 5 position. I think the bigger thing as a 5 position versus that Meepo is you're amplifying everybody else versus him, and you're stunning multiple Meepos. Sure, he's not going to be stacking all 5 of them all the time, or all 3 or 4 of them at the same time, all 3 of them, whatever, in those situations when he does have them, but it's the likeliness that you're getting multiple Meepos stomped is very, very high.
We're going to see both teams come out to try and get a look at getting the advantage in the runes, and it will be Liquid able to take 3 bounty runes to start the game off.
Lanes are identified immediately. OG's going to play super aggressive down bottom. They know it's a Meepo in the side lane. They're just going to constantly be running at him, and now it's going to be Miracle in that matchup mid versus a Tiny.
Yeah, interesting to see, especially after, as the panel were mentioning earlier, how Weeha and Miracle were sort of juggled around back in the day on Balkan Bears between the mid lane, and now here on the same team, Miracle says it's my turn to take myself back to mid.
I'm really curious
to the side lane
to see how the side lane Meepo is going to do. We pretty much strictly see this hero placed in the mid lane because you need experience. You want to be getting that solo experience for yourself, being able to always... Oh, Zeke actually going to get a tops back. Tops and, oh, he actually has the tree grab as well as the avalanche, but put some pressure on. But yeah, this Meepo is going to be splitting experience with the Chen. So I think we're going to see Kuroki, in particular, moving away from the lane a lot as the Chen. You have to give Meepo levels.
Now looking at the other side lane up top, mind control tied, backed up by GH against Notail and Ana. Is this is a lane where Ana's going to be able to get some space to farm, or can Liquid really amp up the pressure on a Spectre early on?
I think Ana's going to be able to farm up here just fine. They could set up some kills onto Notail, but onto Ana, I don't think you can kill a Spectre with a Rubik and a Tidehunter. You can prevent some farm though, right? This is the damage reduction lane. Fade Bolt as well as Anchor Smash will be a little annoying, but this is what Heldenstein does. This is why he's picked so often.
He runs the heroes down.
Yeah, he just secures the lane pretty nicely for
refreshing the spirit here, nearly getting GH. Single-handedly just beating these two far, far away from Ana, so Ana's got all the space in the world.
Yeah.
Let's have a look on the mid lane. CS 7 for 3, Thompson at the moment against the 4 for 0. I guess what expected, Tiny's going to have this advantage?
Yeah, would definitely think so. It's also very easy to always play aggressive as the Tiny 2 because your Avalanche removes 6 of those instances of refraction whenever he does get the levels up on Miracle. Just got to make sure you don't need too many side lanes this Thompson because you are very low armor, of course.
Again, I mean, Notail. He's going to take quite a bit of damage in response this time with the guts to the Anchor Smash. Trying to run away with the Tango. He's going to look for the neutral creep tonight. Not going to get it. GH able to get that first blood, taking down Notail. As Notail, for the most part, still able to do his job with regards to pushing them away from Ana, but obviously just wants to make sure that he doesn't feed himself away too many times. Otherwise, that is when you are going to see that dual lane up top, get the levels, and then have the better chance of forcing that Spectre out of the lane.
It's his job, though. I think a death like that for Notail, it's forgivable. Sure, you don't want it to happen, but he's only to get all the last hits. He's 11-1 when it's only 7-2 Tidehunter, so it's all about the space. And we look at OG's draft. They're about the late game. You look at Liquid's draft, they're very early game centric. They want to be snowballing the game, getting Rose control, and just ending the game before it gets too late on. Because OG's, if it gets to the late game, you can assume that they're going to be able to take it very easily with that Spectre.
Yeah, when OG's having such a good time in some of these matchups, they're going to be very, very happy. The mid lane continuing to be very much in Thompson's favor. 15 for 8 against the 9 for 0. Miracle is going to look to fight back. Thompson getting rather low. Miracle looking for the angle. Oh, he does find the angle, but it isn't quite enough damage. Thompson will be able to walk away.
He's going to have to TP to base, though. That's pretty huge there. Miracle, after having a pretty rough start in the laning phase, 8 denies on the Tiny, pushes him out. Thompson getting a bit too over-aggressive there. So we see Weeha is going to be hitting this level 3, level 4. Kuroki has absolutely been moving away from the lane a lot to ensure that the Meepo gets that extra experience. And he's grabbing his creeps. He's actually grabbing the Ogre Frostmage this time just for the armor. 15 armor on Meepo to soak some of that bullying that comes out from Seb as well as Jerax. But they're glyphing the wave, and they want to continue this pressure.
Farm between Seb and Wee, very even at the moment. So they're both getting something good out of this lane. Still the best position on the map happens to be Ana's up top. This Spectre leading the way in CS. The duo lane was not able to do enough to break past Notail and slow Ana's early game down.
Thompson will not get the rune, but the rune will spawn bottom, and Jerax is already there waiting for it. Sarm really well, actually, even though the Enchantress tends to be able to bully most heroes, with the Ransack in combination with this armor. Like, his main Meepo is sitting at like 17 armor when he's away from the tower, of course. So how do you harass 17 armor when he's also healing off hitting creeps? So definitely an interesting approach coming out here from Liquid.
Thompson back in the lane. Definitely with that, a good bit of time the Miracle got with Thompson having to head back to base. The even trader farm is there, and of course Miracle as the TA will be able to turn towards the jungle camps, ancient camps. and get those sort of guaranteed item timings unless OG's able to really invade Liquid's half of the map and get in his face.
Bounty runes in 10. Teams preparing for those. Thompson making his way down the bottom to fill out his bottle as well.
He doesn't have a TP, no tail.
He's got to watch the runes get taken right in front of him.
Oh, he's going to be stuck up here for a little bit of time. His only way down, really, a TP delivery. And it's not going to come for a while.
No,
he has some on the courier, but of course Thompson's got to take priority.
Now they're going to shift Jerax up top. He actually was jungling as the Pugna when he got the Arcane Rune, so level 3, pretty decent levels on this Pugna to come up top and try to help Ana a little bit. And Ana already has Soul Ring, so he's got his farming item already finished up on the Spectre. But they will be able to pressure him a little bit now as GH, though, steps up a bit too far.
Get the dagger in with Jerax moving forward. GH brought down low. Jerax needs one more blast to connect, and there it is. GH is brought out. As soon as No-Tail's out of action on that top lane and on the cliff, they bring Jerax in and are able to make sure that that lane really does continue to go the favor of OG. And the time and space is created for the courier to get out, get No-Tail his TP, so he's back in action.
And he's going to double stack. So he got some time wasted for himself on that Elder Titan, but gets 2 stacks up for his team to be able to farm up. And he's going to get that extra gold as well from that stack.
Yeah, and OG just really made the best out of what could have been a bit of an awkward situation.
Yep.
With OG potentially having Ana be supportless on that lane for a minute. A group back up, OG making full efficiency of the shrine. And that bottom lane, Weehaw.
It's the most important one to look at.
He's getting the farm. He's able to turn into the jungle a little bit as well. In fact, with the boost, he's keeping Seb low. Seb, he's going to be able to run away with that heal, but has to be careful as that magical poof gets leveled up.
He's committing forward again, actually, onto Seb. Fakes out those poofs. Seb will be forced to pop one of the Fairy Fires just in case. Weehaw, this is, I mean, it's a really interesting approach, right? I mean, Kuroki is literally just giving this Meepo pretty much full experience down bottom, and it's giving him good opportunities to pressure Seb. Pressure an Enchantress, which you usually do not see.
I mean, they might see if they can get the setup again as Seb gets blocked in here. Will steal the Creeper Kuroki, but the control's there from Weehaw. Fairy Fire pop Seb. He's going to have to heal back up in a second. So once more, will be able to keep himself out of vision behind the tree. Pop the heal, Weeha's going to try. Now he's going to hold it off. He knows he's not got the damage to do so. Back up top, Liquid getting in close and personal with No-Tail.
I wonder if that was a bit of a misclick bottom, right? Kuroki actually divide favored the Meepo that was right next to him. Back to... I think he was trying to pull... I don't know. It looked like he was trying to pull GH or somebody else bottom to go for the Enchantress, but he ended up pulling the Meepo that was right next to him. So a little bit of wasted time there for the divine favor on that first gank, but yeah, they do get No-Tail up top.
Still overall a very close laning phase. A 1k advantage at the moment for Liquid, just 2 for 1. As there's no one really getting heavily zoned out of their lane. All the cores finding farm in this early game.
Yeah, I guess my control may be the slight one, but he's just right behind Seb anyway. It's like barely any advantage for the Enchantress. But now Seb, he's trying to get it. Get some pressure on.
Making sure that Weehaw cannot sort of be left to his own devices inside of the jungle.
It's a neat way of like approaching the dynamic, right? They're like, okay, Enchantress is gonna suffer a little bit here, but then Jerax, you're actually the one that can pressure tower. So now we have a Pugna that's farming bottom and taking the tier 1 as a support.
And Thompson was able to get in and grab the regen room, but Miracle, he's got backup. GH is there. Thompson, he cannot escape these twos. GH is able to block him off. He may have got the rune, but it will cost him his life. There's no further backup from OG prepared for that contest of the rune that Liquid knew was absolutely going to happen. Thompson was going to go hunting for that 8-minute rune every time.
And they actually like double protected the mid lane to his sentries just to be able to watch out for their side traps from the TA, but not up toward the rune. And those are the ones that are really going to punish the movements when you aren't able to have those sentries placed down pretty much everywhere.
Kuro is ready to smash some fools with the double Hellbears, taking them up towards the top, setups down to mind control, instantly cracking shells off the sleep, but it doesn't matter. The damage output from Thompson will take mind control out of the lane. Successful rotation from Thompson. We'll see if he can make anything more happen with this. Kuro still around in the neighborhood. Thompson, again, GH, here's another combo. It's another kill. Thompson, with these moves that he's so well known for, he knows exactly when he can leave that mid lane, head elsewhere, and make so much happen in favor of OG as he'll slowly chase down Kuro. But Thompson's pressure and movements at 9 minutes in, getting 3 kills for OG.
And he kills the Chen creeps as well, and he keeps the regen on, so he can go make another move. We've seen Thompson do this a lot of times.
Thompson.
Yep, when he plays the Tiny, he just gets super active.
The Avalanche of Thompson, he persists, he continues the chase, he sees the opportunity, and he's just getting so much done. This Tiny just can't stop killing people.
And he's going mid again, and they're already pressuring the tower with the siege creep here, while Ana just continues to farm up top. Ana does not have, he does actually have mana for the Haunt if he does use the Soul Ring.
Another Ravage in mid, Mind Control's gonna come in with a quick setup onto Jax. A meld hit from Miracle will do the job. Now they look for the body blocks onto Seb. Smash there from the Hellbear. Liquid will punish OG. Getting themselves those 2 kills as the rest of OG sort of try and follow in the footsteps of Thompson with their aggression. Doesn't work out as well for those 2.
They bring a lot of attention, though. Weeha's still able to farm the jungle for the side of Liquid, but a lot of attention's been brought onto that mid tower, and it's pretty much dead. It's down to 150 HP. But OG losing a bit more than they probably wanted to there as Mind Control getting that nice Ravage. But Ana, that's the big one to look at, right? He's gotten the Soul Ring. He's now got the Midas finished up as well. He is low, though. Weeha might actually be able to set up for this here.
Even with the 1 charge, he won't have enough for a Horn or any way to escape as we are from the trees. He's got the catch. Ana, has he got the movement speed? He has, in fact. He's going to be able to separate himself. They're trying to go for it, but they just don't have enough duration on that lockdown. He'll be able to walk away from what looked like potentially a guaranteed kill.
And that would have been such a clutch one, too, right? It was right when the Midas was coming out. Thompson getting a bit deep here, getting surrounded. Has the phase boots when laced, but will get slowed up.
Yeah, Miracle with the wrap round. Thompson, his reign on Liquid's half of the map finally put to an end.
They are literally just running around trying to set up kills and just make space for the Spectre. But now Seb also a bit far up, and he's getting surrounded.
Trying to keep this aggression up. Seb just gets burst down by the heavy damage output of Liquid's heroes. He cannot continue to play this aggressive, overestimating his safety with that heal, but it doesn't matter if there's the burst online. And at this point, 12 minutes in, with Liquid having the numbers, they can easily take the Ench out of the game and put pressure onto the tier 1 tower. We'll see a TP in from Thompson. He's ready to try and help hold. A stop setup onto GH will be there, but still with the stolen Avalanche. He'll keep Thompson and N0tail at bay.
Big 2 moves there by Liquid. This is how they want to play. They want to be setting the tempo, setting the pace with their draft, getting that big early advantage, and then they can go into the Roche pit and force OG to fight them when they have this late game type of draft with the Spectre. OG doubling down to make sure they protect their mid tower too. Just all about this map control and keeping themselves farmed up. It's really going to be that name of the game. Is OG's going to try to farm, gank as well, and just let the Spectre get that late game insurance. Seb actually had a Midas queued up as well, and he switched. He's starting to realize it's not just like the magical damage that was hurting or anything, it's the physical burst from all the armor reduction. That meld plus the gush, it's too much for him to handle. He's going Ghost Scepter first time. So really needing and really wanting to emphasize that he can actually survive a single combo, but there's still a lot of magic damage also on Liquid.
I mean, pretty much what saves him from every hero apart from the Meepo. Yeah, the Weeha Meepo is still going to be a big threat for Seb, but even with it, like that was going to be the case anyway, right? Yeah. It's not like it makes this situation worse. If it was caught out by the Meepo now, he'd probably die anyway. So having that Ghost Scepter against the other heroes on Liquid's lineup will certainly give him a chance to get the heal off, walk away, and buy time for the rest of OG to come in and keep the fight going.
Miracle, level 12. This is a very high level TA with a lot of farm right now, almost at the top of the net worth in the game. And yet level 12 in comparison to Thompson, who has been running around. As you expect, he will be starting to get behind the level.
See if he's got the duration of control with these roots. One more will be out, but there's the backup. N0tail, he's able to set up a beautiful sleep onto the 3 of them. Jax and Thompson here as well. They'll look to burst him. He cannot escape with the avalanche from Thompson. He's held down. The rest of Liquid trying to abuse the fact that Seb's alone, but this time Seb will be able to walk away. The most they'll get out of it is that mid-tier 1 tower as Miracle keeps pushing on.
And there's one of the examples why ET can be so good versus Meepos. You're always going to be getting some situations where you get multi-Meepo stomps and setting up for a counter gank. And even Jerax down bottom, Ana was low. They don't want Ana to go back to base. Jerax actually drains pretty much all of his health pool with the life drain to heal up Ana so he can keep that map presence.
I mean, you can definitely feel that timer. Ana, Midas, 1,700 gold on his way towards the Relic and Radiance. They've got to keep the pressure on, and they have now got that Desolator done on Miracle. We've seen already the physical damage output they can offer, and here we have it again. Goodbye, Seb. back to the base with you, as Liquid can now make these moves, take these tier 1s, and even start to think about going for tier 2s very early on with this Chen, Deso, TA combination.
Even go for sneaking a Roche. They could even just send the Chen creeps with the TA, easy Roshan. Or the same thing with the Meepo. They have a lot of different options that Liquid can do in order to just sneak these very strong objectives for them that they need in this game. They want to keep the snowball going. 3K advantage, very good for Liquid right now, but they got to keep it up. They don't want to slow down in this game at all. Do not let OG back up and farm.
This is their window. This time before the Radiance, they have to take as much as they can from the map.
Seb turning up top, trying to get that creep aggro off the tower.
Also going to see Notel start to head over. We'll get a few wards down for the vision, and back in mid, Thompson was pushing out the wave. Weehar was ready to make the jump.
Thompson.
Can he get himself out? The avalanche, buying him time to get into the trees. The next route will miss, but that one will connect as Weehar. Has he got the damage?
He sure does.
Weehar now standing there, the kills, and again, top lane Seb. He just gets run down by this combination of the Tide and the TA. Notel's disabled as they'll pick him up, toss him down. Miracle's just starting to walk around with the group, get these kills after kills. They really are playing the exact pace they need to, Liquid, as they now stand at a 4K gold lead, and they're getting these early objectives.
And they're running directly to the pit. They just got all these kills on the map. They know everyone's going to be respawning, but they should be able to kill this way too fast for the side of OG to respawn, but they are going to be respawning. Let's see if they can actually make it there, as also a full Ethereal Blade now finished up for the Meepo of Weehar.
Now we're going to see, when Weehar tries to go for these kills, he's going to get them every time. There's not going to be that sort of delay, that requirement for him to hit every net. They're going to get destroyed in the first combo that the Meepo comes out with.
This is exactly how they needed to play the draft so far, and they've gotten away with that. They just need to keep that advantage pushing. Ana, about 200 gold from the Relic.
It's closing.
Still a ways
the
away
timer
from
is
Radiance.
still ticking.
Yep.
That's mid lane. Thompson jumped upon. Jarax is there. Can offer the heal to keep him safe, as well as Notel throwing out a stop. Holds Liquid back. Liquid, they're not ones to stop the pressure they're putting on. They'll stand tall here as they push on towards this tier 2 tower.
And I love how they can do this. They send Meepo bottom, they send Weehar down there. He can set up to defend the tower, and he can just poof back in. Or even if they send another hero bottom, they can Divine Favor and bring that hero also back.
You've got to watch for mind control. That Blink and Ravage available. He's looking for an opportunity to set something up. Anytime he feels that he can get in with a Ravage, he'll go for it. In fact, they're going to try and fight with the Horde here. Straight away, Ana comes into the mid mind control. He has the Ravage ready. The Terror draw 5 for them, and now they can just run OG's hero down one by one. Thompson tries to turn with the avalanche, but the mech is popped. Ana and Thompson are dead. They do lose Miracle for this effort, as well as Weehar. The Aegis getting taken the once. See if they can go for it a second time. No, he had the main Meepo out in the jungle, so he's easily safe and back out off the back of the respawn. A 2 for 2, well, a 2 for 1.5 with Aegis being burnt.
5-man Ravage, though, coming in. I don't think he didn't even get the blink off. He just walked in and
just walked in.
Every single one.
It was a bit of an awkward start there, really, from OG. They were going in with this Horde. Ana ends up being on the front lines. And that really was, I think, the easiest Ravage the mind controls had to pop.
I think they underestimated how tanky the side of Liquid really is when they have this mech finished up, as well as a Hand of God up from Kuroki. We see they go in with the Haunt, but everything just gets popped pretty much right away after that Ravage, and they're all full health. I think the fight there for OG, what they're trying to do is they don't have the Radiance ready, but if they're able to do decent in that fight, and if Ana is able to actually survive the fight, he gets full Radiance and the fight explodes.
And we saw a bit more context, right? He was trying to get himself away from Weehar down bottom. So he was sort of forced to make the Haunt play. Whoever he jumps on in the mid lane, that sort of fight's going to happen. So Ana was sort of just stuck in a very hard place in terms of the moves that he can make.
Absolutely. And we see the wards by Liquid. This is just an emphasis of how fast they want to be playing in this game. They put 3 wards watching behind this tier 2 mid. They want to really press the issue and try to close the game out with this advantage. If they can keep this advantage going, it's going to be great for them.
Everything so far on the checklist of what Liquid needs to do has been ticked. 13-7, 6K lead, both Weehar and Miracle hitting those timings. They have the farm, 10K advantage.
And you see them immediately group up, go back to the mid lane. Even if they don't have Ravage just yet, they're still just trying to set up and push the base down, push as hard as they can, take all the objectives, close the map from OG. As you see Meepo, Weehar, he's constantly on the prowl, looking for Ana, looking for the Spectre in the side lanes.
See Ana, he knows he's got to be careful, showing he's so close to having the Radiance. And at a time where Haunt is about to be back online. He's got to try and get it up, but we are a beautiful net into the trees there. It's going to hold him back, cancel the TP. Should still have the chance of running away with the dagger. I mean, I say that Weehar's continuing to another route. Weehar, he's hitting them every single time. He's held him down. The dagger is there, but there's the E-blade. Weehar continues to play around with Anna, and they'll drag him back. GH is there with a follow-up. A beautiful play from Weehar. This is why this man's Meepo is absolutely terrifying. Yeah, thanks, Anna. I could have gone with absolutely perfect as well.
You could have gone
right.
Oh, that was good.
I mean, he hit them every single time, blind into the trees. That's a dead Anna. And at the most important time, he was so close to his Radiance. He had the Horn available, but he's out the game again. Liquid continuing to do everything right.
Yep. This Meepo pick is really seeming to be amazing for them as it just puts too much pressure on the map. They're able to push as a group unit, get these towers down, but also the Meepo can address the split push, address the late game that OG's trying to take it to. He can constantly pick up those sides. 14-7, 8K lead, 6K experience advantage as well. And immediately, they're knocking on the front door.
This is the scary bit for OG as they sort of ask themselves, are they going to go high ground? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Deso, BKB, no reason for Liquid to start to slow down at this point. OG will turn up in their numbers.
Radiance is done. OG might look to go for taking the fight. So the backline can be very squishy versus Radiance, but they have mech. They have level 2 Hand of God for Kuroki as well. And so a lot of heal can come in.
This is the point where even though they have that 8K lead, you gotta be careful. You lose one fight whilst ahead against the Spectre and his Radiance, that's when the comeback can begin.
Absolutely. But they do have BKB on Miracle. They have a lot of these big items that allows them to go for aggressive plays.
Ghost is going to buy him a little bit of time. The stolen dagger for GH is going to get chucked down upon him. GH trying to offer him the heals. No tell with the stomp from the high ground. Is able to disable Miracle's TA. Make sure that he cannot continue to commit onto Seb, and Seb will be kept safe. As Liquid still continue to sort of dance around the outskirts of OG, wait to see an opportunity to go in, but they know they've got to be careful. And OG, they'll smoke up. They themselves know they can get something good going with that Spectre Horn. The smoke was spotted out by the warding. So they know that OG's up to something, Liquid, and they're trying to sort of bait at the moment. Have Miracle on the front, see who reveals themselves. For now, it's just Seb.
Both sides look like they're kind of baiting, right? Seb's like, come at me. My team's on the right, you know this, but I know your team's on the left. So both teams kind of playing with each other there. Popping the south now, trying to force Miracle to go in further.
And another meld hit off the mid.
Whoa.
Seb's got to be careful. He's got the Ghost Scepter, but Mind Control jumps in. Gush used to help slow Seb down. Still needs that second meld hit again. The save. Cherax with the Decrepify stops Miracle from being able to get another touch in onto Seb. Seb will be fine. Thompson on the high ground with that Invis rune, maybe able to set up a toss back. Miracle is going to receive a bit of damage from the Avalanche. Trying to bait out a BKB potentially, but Miracle keeps his cool. Relies on the refraction alone.
Still very tanky. 1680 HP. Thompson looking to want to go back in though. He has the blink available.
Seb a little low, but the Nature's Attendant will make quick work of getting him back up to full HP. And OG, they are certainly starting to push Liquid back off their half of the map. Thompson's going to look for the quick combo on GH, but a Glimmer Cape's available. They still have the vision with the sentry down for a toss. GH, he's able to back off and get away. The Haunt now being used. They want to try and utilize this Radiance to get the kills. They'll get the support of GH. Can they get any of the bigger cores? It doesn't look like it for now. The rest of Liquid able to safely get out of there. And now Liquid, they can work with in mind that there's no Haunt Radiance. It was used only for GH. This is a good window where Liquid can get back to doing what they just were, especially with the Blink Dagger being finished on Miracle.
OG definitely wanted to get more out of that one there, but Liquid too quick to disengage. And that Glimmer, just every little thing buying some time for them to get out before that Spectre Haunt is able to catch more in the back lines.
I mean, and you could see that was exactly how Liquid was playing there. Yeah. That whole sort of movement and sort of hesitating to go in. They were just waiting for that Haunt. OG, they finally felt forced to try and make something happen with it, and it wasn't good enough. Liquid still able to keep this strong hold.
Both teams were definitely toying with each other a little bit there from the initiation. Both teams had good vision of each other. They both were aware of
this most of the heroes. It's going to have eyes on Thompson. Quick blink from Thompson out before the Gush connects. Seb's instantly out of this top area of the map.
Thompson also having a haste rune. This could be a really big one for the next upcoming fights as he can dance in and out of the fights. Much easier to get multiple combos. Liquid all joining in together in the area up top. They have a Silver Edge also finished on the Meepo too. So Silver Edge in this game, I know we've seen a lot of Meepo pick up Silver Edge, but in this game, he's versus the Spectre, he's versus an Enchantress. It's a really good Silver Edge game.
especially in this space. You know, it still takes a little bit of time, right, to get that first hit on the edge. But when you do, she will be very, very easy to kill. I mean, item-wise, what's Seb walking around with at the moment? Just the Ogre Club, Ghost Scepter, and the Midas. Playing for that late game, playing for towards the idea that OG can continue to hold and make sure that Liquid don't take any of the tier 3s. And, you know, despite that early advantage that they are yet to be able to break the base of OG. OG, even with not necessarily the biggest taunt in the world, it's slowing down Liquid that little bit. That lead that they've grown has started to sort of stagnate and to stay at that same bar. If OG can take a great fight around the horn, the turnaround could start to come in. Seb,
oh, for sure.
Up
Seb.
to the high ground, they're getting knocked down, jump forward from Miracle. They're going to offer the stomp, but will slow down Miracle's damage output and giving Seb the time to walk out. Ghost Scepter pops as well as the heals. Liquid try and stay on top of the edge. There's the lockdown. Weehar's in with the net. They'll finally kill Seb off. Question is, how much can they do with this bit of time? No, Enchantress. Anna pushed the bottom lane out all the way around. They can go for the tier 1 tower. By Anna Spectre.
I feel like we've seen a lot of these house games a lot here at this international. When you have this late game that doesn't really have the best team, and you're facing versus the lineup. But you kind of just have to dance around the map